Come on, guys. What's with the cops? Freaking SPD, man. Hey gang, how's everyone doing? So today I'm going to go over one of the sounds that I created for my Gary Numan Cars video. I'm going to show you how I built that sound in the Korg Kross 2. And just FYI, for any Korg Kross 1 owners, believe most of the stuff will translate over to that keyboard as well, since most of the things underneath the keyboard are pretty much identical as far as I know. Let's go ahead and get started. So here's the string sound that I came up with. And the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to an Initialize Program in the Kross. So those are going to be under the user menu. And I'm going to go ahead and reset the one here. So as soon as you go to the Initialize Program, you're going to notice this sort of crappy keyboard piano sound. We're going to change that. Let's go ahead and go to the menu. Let's go down to Basic, and we want to change the oscillator to double. So we have two oscillators layered on top of each other. As you probably know, the Korg Kross is not an analog device. It's not an analog synthesizer, but it sort of mimics analog in a lot of ways. So they're not going to actually be oscillators, but multisamples of waveforms that sound a lot like analog synthesizers, or pretty close at least. That leads us to the next part. So we want to go back to menu, and then we want to go down to oscillator. And this is where we can control which multisample we select for our sound. And right now it's on the crappy piano, so let's change it. Let's go ahead and change it to 286. And that's going to be the magical analog string sound. Cool. So we're going to hit that, and we're going to go into our other oscillator, and we're going to get enter, and we're going to go down to 287. So just remember, you have to change both of the oscillators. So we're going to get 287 analog strings 2, just to give it a slightly different sound than the first oscillator. Hit enter, and I've got two doubled up analog string sounds. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to detune them slightly. So that'll give it a little bit more of that initial analog feeling or sound. And the way we do that is we go into menu, we go to pitch, and we find this menu right here where you find the octave, transpose, etc. Go to tune, we want to do +3, -3. And this is a really subtle little tweak, but it's actually going to help it sound a little closer to the original. Hello, it's police time. Okay, so we've got our oscillators detuned slightly. You can hear that little bit of friction between them, which is awesome. So the next step we want to do is we want to change the ADSR, or the envelope generator, in the amplitude department. So we want to go menu, we want to go down to amplitude or amp. I'm going to go amp EG, and that gives us this little screen with the ADSR bar graph. Alright, so what we want to do is we want to go to the attack. We want to set the attack to 30, and then we want to set the release to 70. Everything else is pretty much the default setting, so don't forget you have to do for both. There we go. Let's listen back to what we got. Sounds pretty freaking close. But the sound of that synth is just a little too smooth for me. I want to go ahead and add some LFO to it. So the LFO is going to be a two-step process. The first thing we have to do is we have to go into the pitch again. So we want to go to the pitch menu, go over to the LFO modulation screen, and we want to change the LFO 1 intensity to 0.2. Again, you must do for both oscillators. So that's step one. The second step is we want to go into the menu and all the way down to oscillator LFO, where it is. And we want to change the frequency to 65. Got to go both oscillators. And we want to change the waveform to square, at least that's what I did, and the delay to 10. And you got to go both. So the delay thing is kind of cool. It just basically waits a second to kick in, which is just like a subtle thing I noticed in the recording. So I thought I'd try to copy that. Okay, I think that basically covers us, but one more little final detail is the filter. So I didn't really do much to the filter on the sound. I just changed the cutoff ever so slightly. I left the filter in the default setting. So what I did was I went to the real-time control and I just set the cutoff to 47. And there we go. So this just kind of softens the timbre of the sound a bit, gives it that analog vibe. So yeah, there you go. This is your final product. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I would love to do some more of these Korg Kross to sound videos. Love programming the synthesizer sounds. I love copying the analog style synths. And it seems pretty doable with this synthesizer. But yeah, possibly for the next video in the series I may cover the Mini Moog voice. So in case you're wondering what I'm talking about, it's this sound. Thanks for watching, all my fellow Kross heads and synthesizer heads, and we'll see you in the next one. Play on, players!